All right, so we'll go ahead and get started in a seated position. So if you have that blanket, go ahead and take your blanket and prop yourself up on the blanket with your hips higher than your knees to protect your knees. If you don't have a blanket, I recommend, so if you do have the blanket, you can go ahead and put it under your sit bones and cross your feet in front of you. If you don't have a blanket or anything, I recommend sitting back on your heels. So start by standing on your shins and then go ahead and sit back on your heels. And if you have your blanket and you would prefer this seated position, go ahead and join me here. So this will be the pose that we're in for about, I guess, 10 minutes tops. So if you need to readjust at any point, feel free. And then go ahead and just bring awareness to your breath. Allow your eyes to close. Bring your palms to your thighs, facing downward for a more grounded, restful position. If you're feeling like you need a little bit more energy brought into your body today, flipping your palms up towards the sky might be a little bit more invigorating. And then begin to bring awareness to your breath. Noticing the pattern of your breath, allowing your belly to fully expand on the inhale, filling up with air, and then contracting on the exhale, pulling your navel, your belly button back towards your spine, and fully ridding your body of all the air that might be kind of pent up, all that energy, that stagnant energy, and releasing that through your exhale. There's nowhere else for you to be right now, nothing else to prove, just you here on your mat. I recognize and sympathize that that may be a really extra challenging thing to do these days, to just be here and now. All of us in some way have had our worlds uprooted in the last few weeks, and that looks a lot different for all of us. It may be that your life is continuing somewhat the same because you are continuing your daily routine that requires you to be out in the world and leave your home. If you're somebody that has stayed mostly home in the past month, that's also a very new routine that can leave all of us feeling unsettled and restless. I know for myself, I've been mostly home, but it has been challenging. I've felt many different emotions of guilt and sadness of all the suffering that's happening and somewhat helpless. But we have to recognize that we all have a role to play in the world we're living in today. And today, all of us have come here to play a role on our mat of opening our hearts and our energy to the world, sending peace and comfort out to the world through our practice. So we're going to give ourselves that sense of peace and comfort for sure on our mat today. But we're also going to use that positive energy and project it out into the world. And that's your role to play for the next hour and 15 minutes or so. We'll do that by a series of heart openers and shoulder openers. So let's begin our practice by chanting one single sound of Om. I invite you to bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart and join me in unifying our voices, which is needed now more than ever, in the sound of Om, which is the sound at the heart of the universe. You're always welcome to listen along. I recognize you may have some others living with you in your house, so it's always just as powerful to listen along. Let's inhale here for Om. Om. Exhale to release your hands back down to your thighs. Inhale, softly flutter your eyes open. And on an inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Bring your palms to touch. Exhale to release the right hand to the mat beside you. Inhale your left arm across your face. Taking this opportunity to circle your wrist a few times in both directions. Breathing into the left side body, bringing oxygen into the blood in maybe places where it doesn't always reach. Inhale back through center, and then exhale to release your left hand down to the mat. Inhale your right arm across your face. Go ahead and circle your right wrist here, breathing into your extended side body on the right side. Not allowing your left side to crunch though, really engaging the obliques or the side abdominals here to keep yourself lifted. And then inhale your arms back overhead. From here, release your arms about like halfway. So your shoulders or your elbows will be in line with your shoulders here. And then go ahead and puff up your chest, bring your hands behind your head, and then bring your index fingers to touch behind your head. So you're not touching your head. They're kind of extended away from your head, your hands. You're puffing up your chest forward towards the top of the mat, but not gaping your ribs. So engaging the ribs, tucking them under, and just breathing here for one breath. On your next exhale, begin to open the arms, bring your arms out to a T, and then shift the thumbs down towards the mat. Go ahead and bring your arms behind your back again, this time your fingertips facing towards the mat, and then bring your index fingers to touch kind of near your lower back, but not touching the lower back. On an inhale, raise your arms overhead, bringing your fingertips to touch behind your head, puffing up your chest, lifting towards the sky. And then exhale, go ahead and bring your palms behind your back. Your palms open towards the back of the mat, fingertips touching behind you. And then inhale one more time overhead. Go ahead and pause here. Exhale, bring your hands down to your thighs. So go ahead and leave your left leg bent, however it is, however it's in a seated position right now. And then bring your right leg in front of you. So bend your right knee, connect the sole of your right foot with the ground. And then you're going to bring your left hand, your left palm, to ground into the mat behind you, behind your left sit bone. Inhale your right arm up alongside your ears. On an inhale, push into the right sole of your foot and then lift your hips up towards the sky. So you're pushing into your right foot and your left palm to lift your hips up towards the sky. Your right fingertips coming behind you on the mat. Good. Exhale to release down. We'll do that one more time on this side. So inhale, release your hips up towards the sky. Really exaggerating your chest, opening towards the sky, and then exhale to release down. From here, go ahead and fold your right foot back in, however it was to start class, and then bring your left foot out in front of you, your left knee bent, grounding the sole of the left foot in front of you. Bring your right hand behind you, kind of near your right sit bone behind you on the mat. Inhale your left arm alongside your face. Deep exhale here. And then inhale to use your left foot to push up. Your hips come towards the sky, your chest towards the sky. And then exhale, release down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale to lift your hips and chest up towards the sky. Exhale to release down. Good. So you can go ahead and remove whatever you had underneath of you, if anything, out from underneath of you. And we'll come to meet in all fours. So hands and knees position. Bringing your hands to plant on the mat underneath your shoulders. Bringing your knees to rest underneath your hips. Untuck your toes. Good. And we'll just take a few circles of the hips to the right side. So clockwise, bring your hips down towards your right heel and around to the left, back through center. Just wakening up the hips here. You might feel or hear some cracks, which is just air leaving the joints. Depending on how your lifestyle may have changed in the past few weeks, you could be hearing more cracks than normal. So just recognize that and take it slow. After one more circle, pause at center and then go ahead and rotate counterclockwise. Good. Finding a stillness at center, inhale to tilt your tailbone up towards the sky, drop your belly down towards the mat and lift your head up for cow pose. Exhale, tilt your tailbone down towards the mat, hollow your belly up towards the sky, drop your head last for cat pose. Really exaggerate the rounding of the shoulders. Inhale, tilt the tailbone up, drop your belly down, lift your gaze up for cow pose. Exhale, tilt the tailbone, hollow the belly up, drop your head last. Just go ahead and lead yourself through a few more rounds of cat and cow using your breath to guide you. After your next cat pose, go ahead and find a stillness at center. Keep your left palm grounded into the mat. Inhale your right arm up towards the sky, fingertips coming up towards the sky, twisting your torso towards the long right side of your mat. Exhale, go ahead and thread your right hand underneath your left armpit, bringing your right shoulder to the mat and your right cheek to the mat. Your right fingertips are out towards the left side of the mat, so you're really feeling that stretch in the right shoulder. Your hips are still elevated towards the ceiling. And then inhale to unthread, bringing your right hand through and up towards the sky one more time. Deep breath here. And then exhale to release your right palm down to the mat. From here, keep your right palm grounded firmly, and then inhale, twist your torso towards the left side, bringing your left arm up towards the ceiling. Fingertips really shooting up towards the sky, not crunching into the right shoulder, but really extending the collarbone strong and wide. And then exhale to thread your left arm and hand through underneath your right armpit, and then bring your left shoulder to the mat. And your left cheek can come to the mat. Really feel that extension and stretch in the left shoulder. Good. From here, exhale to unthread the left hand. Inhale your left arm up towards the sky one more time, really twisting the torso. And then exhale to bring your left palm back down to the mat. From here, walk your hands further out in front of you. Keep your hips elevated here. And then allow your chest and your forehead to come meet the mat for puppy dog pose. So you might have to walk your hands even further out in front than you're used to. Allow your chest to gape towards the mat, really opening the chest and the heart towards the mat. Keeping your hips elevated for puppy dog. Nice. From here, allow your sit bones to meet your heels, coming into a child's pose. So your hands will come back in space towards your body, your forehead still extended towards the mat. You might shift your knees to come out towards the sides of the mat instead of straight out in front. And this is one of those great restful positions that you can come to throughout the practice if you lose connection with your breath or just need to reset, or you'd rather not do a pose that I cue, you can always come to rest in child's pose. From here, ground your the weight of your body into your palms and use that to lift yourself back up to hands and knees. From here, tuck your toes under and then lift your hips towards the sky for your first downward facing dog. So use this time to pedal out the feet, kind of settle into your first downward facing dog. It might be the first time all day that your head is lower than your heart, which can be a really invigorating sensation. Maybe shift your hips back and forth, kind of wag your tail. And then when you're ready, find a stillness in this pose, really firmly planting your palms and all 10 fingertips into the mat, turning your gaze up towards your thighs, and then aiming your heels back towards the mat. Even if they don't meet, that's the goal. Inhale to rise to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. So land here with your torso surrendering the weight forward, your head hanging heavy, your knees slightly bent to protect the knees, not to hyperextend. Maybe you take hold of opposite elbows, opposite wrists, and just shift your hips back and forth in this ragdoll position. Really exaggerate the surrendering of the weight forward. Just let everything go. You might even flubber your lips or make a really audible exhale, whatever feels comfortable and is doable in your household with those that might be around. And then from here, very slowly begin to stack one vertebra on top of the other as you slowly come up to a standing position. So from here, finding yourself in Tadasana or mountain pose, stacking your hips over top of your knees, over top of your ankles, your palms facing in, your collarbone and chest wide. Gaze out in front. From here, bring your right hand to your heart. Your left arm will come up just about shoulder width distance out in front of you. So have your palm facing inward. Yep. And then inhale your arm up overhead and pause there. From here, begin to face your palm out towards the long left side of the mat. And then begin to continue to rotate the arm behind you with your thumb facing down. So it's a circular motion. Your arm's coming behind you and then back to your side. So the point of having your right hand on your chest is to kind of gauge whether or not you're trying to turn towards the left side or not. So you want to keep your torso as centered as possible. And this is a really great way to open the chest, but also it's great for the joints. It's a very small joint movement and allows us to kind of keep that shoulder joint lubricated. So let's do that a few more times. Inhale your arm, left arm overhead. Pause here, turn your palm out towards the left side, and then continue to rotate your arm behind you. Back, and then back by your side. Inhale the arm up out in front. Pause overhead. Shift the palm out towards the left side of the mat, and then continue to rotate behind you, keeping your torso as firmly squared towards the top of the mat as possible. Exhale to release both hands back down by your sides. Good. Go ahead and bring your left palm to your chest. Inhale your right arm alongside your ear, palm facing towards your inner, like the midline of your body. And then exhale, swivel your palm out towards the long right side of the mat, bringing your arm to circle behind you. Good. Inhale your arm up overhead. Pause here, pivot your palm out towards the long left side, and then continue to rotate your arm behind you. Good. Inhale one more time, overhead. Pause here. And then exhale to bring your arm back around and by your side. So that's what we call a controlled articulate movement or rotation. You might hear it referred to as CARS, and it really keeps the joint lubricated over time and healthy over time. So you can bring your hands back down to your sides, And before we get started going through a few more rounds of Vinyasa, I wanted to do a quick breath exercise. And so the beauty of virtual yoga is that if you wanted to, you can turn your camera off. But I think this is a really fun one to unite together, especially as we're focusing this class around uplifting and sending that positive energy out to the world. So I'll demonstrate first. Some of those who have practiced with me before might recognize this one. It's called the breath of joy. So it's like this. I'll say it out loud as I do it, and then we can start going together. So it's inhale, arms out in front. Exhale, arms to the side. Inhale, arms out in front. And then exhale, release. So I think I said that wrong. It's all inhales until the last exhale. So it's like this. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale out to the front. Inhale out to the sides. Inhale out to the front. Exhale, release, and bend your knees. So it's like audibly, it sounds like this without saying it. So you can kind of give it a spin, give it a twirl, see what it feels like in your body. It doesn't have to be one specific way, but just really connect the movement with the breath and invite that invigoration and sensation into your body. Give it about 2 more rounds and then we'll meet in Tadasana. Hopefully, if you have others that are living with you at this time, they're either joining in, laughing in good fun, or just not paying attention, because this can be a little bit funny at times. So then just come to stand in Tadasana, find the stillness, connect back with your breath, your normal pattern of breath, and just realize how your body feels now as opposed to before the breath of joy. Good. Inhale to sweep your arms up and out alongside your ears, palms touch, gaze lifts towards your thumbs. Exhale your palms through the midline of your body. Fingertips come all the way to line with toe tips on the mat for a forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale about halfway up, so extend your neck and your spine long out towards the top of the mat. And then exhale to frame the feet, step or hop back, landing into a high plank. Just pause there for a moment. From here, option to keep the knees elevated off of the mat and come into a chaturanga, half push-up, by just bending the elbows about halfway. Or you can go ahead and bring your knees to the mat, keeping your toes tucked. Exhale to bring your chest and chin between your hands for Ashta Pranam. I don't think you guys can see me anymore, so let me fix that. So pausing here, inhale, scoop your torso forward, scooping your torso through your hands for small cobra. Untuck your toes, lift your chest just about halfway up. The tops of your arms are perpendicular or parallel to the mat. The bottom of your forearms are perpendicular to the mat. And then exhale, drop your head, tuck your toes, lift your hips up to the sky for downward facing dog. So that right there is the Vinyasa, from either Chaturanga or Ashta Pranam into small cobra or upward dog, and then into down dog. That is the Vinyasa that we'll use to move throughout the practice today. So take whatever variation feels good to you as I cue the Vinyasa. From here, inhale, release your right leg long behind you. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands at the top of the mat. Release your left knee to the mat and untuck your left toes. Inhale your arms alongside your ears for a low crescent lunge. So drop your arms or your shoulders away from your ears here. If you feel like you have the accessibility in your lower back and you don't have a cranky lower back, go ahead and really exaggerate this into a little bit of a back bend. So to do that, you'll bring the hands and the arms behind your head and kind of invite that slight back bend. Breathing into it here. Exhale to release your hands to frame the front foot. Keep your left palm grounded on the inside of your right foot, and then inhale to bring your right arm up towards the sky for a twist to the right. So option to stay here, or go ahead and go in search of your left hip with your right hand. This will exaggerate the opening of the chest towards the sky to the right side. If you went into the bind, inhale to release your right fingertips to the sky, and then exhale to frame the front foot. From here, tuck the left toes under, step the right foot back to meet the left, and then pause in high plank. From here, very slowly allow your full body to release to the mat. Untuck your toes. Just take make a pillow with your hands and just bring one cheek or the other to your hands just for a small rest. From here, lift your head through center. Bring your arms and hands alongside your body, palms firmly planted into the mat. We'll go through a series of poses that will set us up for an early Shalabhasana or locust pose. So inhale to lift your chest and your chin off of the mat. Lifting from the chest, not so much from the chin. So keeping your neck long and your gaze just a few feet out in front, not so much looking up to the ceiling. Good. Exhale to release down. Now inhale, keep your head and forehead connected with the mat. Inhale to lift your knees and your feet off of the mat behind you. Yep, so really kind of connecting the pelvic area into the mat, but lifting the knees and the feet off of the mat, maybe even the thighs come off of the mat, and then exhale to release down. Now inhale, this time bring your chest, chin, hands, knees, and feet off of the mat for the full expression of Shalabhasana or locust pose. You're balancing in the pelvic area. If you have the mobility in your shoulders, you're welcome to clasp your hands together over your lower back, and that will even help exaggerate the opening of the chest even more. Remember, we're lifting from the chest, not the chin, so keep the chin relatively tucked, and then exhale to release. Good. Go ahead and bend your knees here, and then just windshield wiper your shins back and forth. Find a stillness with your legs, let your legs go long, and then bring yourself up onto your forearms. So you'll come into an early Sphinx pose, having your fingertips pointed up towards the top of the mat, your elbows in line with your shoulders. Really puff your chest through your upper arms. Feel that extension or that feeling that kind of causes a slight back bend in your lower back. Again, if your lower back is cranky or not feeling great, maybe just release and keep your head down a little bit more. But this Sphinx pose will really allow you to kind of bring the chest through the upper arms. Feel that opening in the collarbone. Good, and then from here, bring your left forearm on a 45-degree angle. So bring your left fingertips to face in towards your right hand. So it's just slightly angled so that it's a little bit of a kickstand. From here, bend your left leg and then reach back with your right hand for your left foot. If you can't reach the left foot today, no problem. Just leave that left leg extended and just reach back behind you. Maybe your right hand comes to meet your left thigh. If you have a hold of your left foot, really use that left foot to kick up towards the sky and back towards the wall behind you to lift your chest further towards the sky. Exhale to release, come back through center. Bring your forearms to be level with your shoulders towards the front of the mat. And then go ahead and tuck your toes under. Bring yourself back through hands and knees. And then very slowly lift up into downward facing dog at your own pace. From here, inhale your left leg long behind you. Exhale to step the left foot by the left thumb. And then release the right knee back down to the mat. Untuck the right toes. Inhale to release your arms alongside your ears. So your left knee is stacked over your left ankle. Lifting that right thigh towards the sky. And then exaggerating into a slight back bend here. If that's accessible to you, just bring the hands and the arms behind your head a little bit more to turn this low lunge into more of a back bend. Remembering to breathe, expanding your belly on the inhale, and then allowing your belly to contract back towards your spine on the exhale. On your next exhale, release your hands to frame your front foot. Keep your right palm grounded into the mat. And then inhale, twist your torso towards the left side, bringing your left hand up towards the sky for a twist to the left. Keeping your chest open and expanded, not crunching into that right shoulder, but really keeping it in line with the left, but opening and expanding. Option here to go in search of your right hip with your left hand for a little bit more of a projection of the chest towards the sky. If you're in that bind, go ahead and reach your left fingertips up towards the sky, and then exhale to frame the left foot in front of you. From here, tuck the right toes under, step the left foot back to meet the right, and pause here in your high plank. Exhale, very slowly bring your body fully down to the mat. Untuck your toes. And then from here, go ahead and bring your arms alongside your body. We're going to go into Shavasana or locust pose with the full expression first this time. So inhale to lift your chest off of the mat, your hands off of the mat, your knees and your feet off of the mat, balancing in the pelvic area. And then an option to bring your hands to clasp over your back to really exaggerate the opening of the chest. Good, exhale to release here. And then bring your hands in front of you for Sphinx pose once again. So having your fingertips facing up towards the top of the mat. Go ahead and kickstand your right forearm in towards your left forearm. So the right fingertips come to face the left hand, so a 45-degree angle with the right forearm. And then using that right arm to kind of keep yourself propped up, bend your right knee, and then go in search of your right foot with your left hand. See if you can lift the right thigh off of the mat, using your right foot to kick up towards the sky and back towards whatever's behind you to lift your chest a little bit higher. And then exhale to release down, coming back through center into your centered pose here on your forearms. And then tuck your toes, bring yourself back through hands and knees. Prop yourself up into a downward facing dog with your hips elevated towards the sky. See if you can aim your heels back towards the mat a little bit more than maybe the first downward dog of the practice. And then inhale to rise to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale to step or hop to the top of your mat. Land with a long spine here. Exhale to fold forward deeply in half, Uttanasana. Keep a slight bend in the knees as to not hyperextend. And then inhale your arms up and out alongside your ears, palms touch. gaze lifts. Exhale your hands by your side for Tadasana. All right, just take a moment to reconnect with the breath. Inhale here, your arms come up overhead. Sink your hips, bend your knees, bring the weight of your body into your heels for a chair pose. Sink your weight a little bit further towards the mat, as far as you can go, and then bring yourself to the balls of your feet, balancing on the balls of your feet, connecting your sit bones with your heels as much as you can. So you're kind of balancing on your heels now. And then allow your knees to come forward on the mat. So now you're fully sitting on your heels. Good. Exhale your hands down by your sides. And then we're going to transition into a camel pose from here. So beginning by propping up your back. So bring your hands to the back of your rib cage behind you. And then your fingertips are facing up towards the sky. Begin to allow your head to drop back slightly, if that's okay for your neck. If not, just stay upright. And then very slowly begin to drop your hands down towards your mat. From here, your knees come up off of the mat, and you continue to walk your hands behind you until the soles of your feet are fully grounded into the mat. That'll allow you to come into a reverse tabletop and lift your hips up towards the sky. So take a minute to breathe here. Grounded fully into your palms and the soles of your feet, lifting your hips towards the sky and your chest towards the sky. And then exhale to come forward. Your sit bones come to the mat, and then we'll come back the way we came, coming forward to sit on our heels with the balls of our feet. The heels are off the mat. Balancing here, see if you can, with your hands or without your hands, lift yourself back up into a chair pose. So that's probably the most challenging thing we'll do all class. So let's just acknowledge that. We'll do it one more time, not now, but on the other side. Great job. Exhale to fold forward in half for Uttanasana. Inhale about halfway up. Exhale, fold forward to frame the feet. Step or hop back into your high plank. From here, exhale, lower down, flow through your Vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. Whatever version works for you. You can always skip the Vinyasa fully and come to downward dog as well. Inhale your right leg long behind you. Exhale to step the right foot by the right thumb. Go ahead and swivel your left foot to be parallel with the back of the mat, and then lift up into warrior two. So we're bending into the right knee, arms out to a T, gaze over the right fingertips. Your left foot is parallel with the back of the mat. So just look down and check to see if you can see your right big toe on the inside of your right knee. If not, go ahead and guide your right knee out towards the right side of the mat a bit more. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Good. Inhale to pivot your torso towards the top of the mat a bit more. Exhale to release your right elbow to your right knee, and then inhale your left arm across your face for extended side angle. So your left fingertips come up towards the top of the mat. Breathing into your left side body. Might be an area where some of your body doesn't get much oxygen or fresh blood sent to it all the time. So really breathe into that extended side, or that side angle on the left side. Inhale to come back through center, arms out to a T in warrior two. Pause here for one round of breath. Exhale, release your left hand down your left leg, and then bring your right arm across your face. Right fingertips towards the back of your mat, still bending into your right knee for a radiant warrior. So now we're extending and opening in the right side body. Inhale, bring your torso back through center, arms out to a T. And then exhale, keep your arms out, but straighten the front right leg. Inhale your torso towards the top of the mat, just slightly. And then exhale to bring your right fingertips down towards the mat and your left arm up towards the sky. So your right arm might rest on your right leg somewhere, or if it reaches the mat, bring it on the outside of your right foot. So you can treat this as a chest opener, maybe even a slight back bend by really opening the collarbone wide here and then maybe kind of daring your weight back in space a bit. This is triangle pose. On an inhale, bring your torso back up to straight, and then exhale your hands by your sides. Then go ahead and bring your right foot to be parallel with your left foot. So all 10 toe tips now facing the long left side of the mat in a wide-legged stance. Good. Inhale your hands to your hips, and then exhale to fold your torso forward slowly, parallel to the mat, and then eventually allowing your head and your hands to come down to the mat. For Prasarita Padottanasana A, wide-legged forward fold. So really guide your head down towards the mat, your hands are planted into the mat in line with your toe tips. From here, begin to walk your hands over towards the right foot, and then take hold of the right foot, the right ankle, I should say, with your left palm. And then inhale, twist your torso towards the right leg and up towards the sky, bringing your right hand towards the sky. Twists are a really detoxifying pose. They really wring out the spine, allow us to reset and get rid of a lot of toxins in the body. Exhale to bring your right hand back down. Bring your hands back through center and then begin to walk them over towards the left foot. Take hold of your left ankle with your right hand, and then inhale your left arm up towards the sky, twisting your torso towards the left side. Opening your chest as much as you can towards the sky with this twist motion. On your next exhale, release your left hand down to the mat. Come back through center, and then walk your hands around towards the front of the mat. Frame your front foot. All your toe tips are now facing the top of the mat. Then release your left knee to the mat. Untuck your left toes. And then go ahead and bring your right leg to line with your left leg. So now you're in hands and knees position. Good. From here, go ahead and lift your left leg behind you. So bring it to straight, lift it just about hip height, and then go ahead and bend your left knee at a 90-degree angle. Good. Inhale your right arm out in front towards the top of the mat, so firmly planting and carrying your weight in your right knee and your left palm. Option to stay here, or go ahead and go in search of your left foot with your right hand. So this will feel kind of like a dancer pose, if you're familiar with dancer, on your hands and knees, however, not standing. Good. Exhale to release back down to hands and knees. Just take a full round of breath here. And then tuck your toes under, lift your hips up for downward facing dog. Continue with the other side. Inhale your left leg up towards the sky, and then exhale to bring your left foot by your left thumb. Swivel your right foot down to the mat to be parallel with the back of the mat, and then cartwheel your hands up into a T, coming into warrior two. Good. Your left knee is bent, your left knee tracking over your left ankle. Drop your shoulders away from your ears, gaze over your left fingertips. Inhale your torso towards the top of the mat, and then exhale to release your left elbow to your left knee. Inhale your right arm across your face, right fingertips come towards the top of the mat for extended side angle. Again, sending breath into the deep places in that extended right side body that might not get fresh oxygen all the time. Using that to invite a sense of positivity and lightness into your body. Inhale to come back up through center, arms out to a T. Pausing here in warrior two. And then exhale to release your right hand down your right thigh, bringing your left arm across your face. Left fingertips back towards the back of the mat, still bending into that left knee, but breathing into the left side body here for a radiant, peaceful warrior. Use an inhale to lift you back up through center, arms out to a T, pausing in warrior two. And then exhale to straighten your front left leg. Inhale your torso forward, and then exhale to drop your left hand down towards the mat, your right arm and hands up towards the sky for triangle pose on this side. So if your left hand meets the mat, bring it to the outside of your left foot. But if it just rests on your left leg, that's totally fine too. Find a comfortable place to rest it. You might keep a slight bend in that left knee as to not hyperextend. Good. Inhale to lift yourself back up through warrior two. And then exhale your hands by your sides. Go ahead and pivot your left foot to be parallel with the right foot, standing in a wide-legged stance. Bring your hands to clasp behind your lower back this time, so puffing up your chest towards the sky. And then inhale to bring your torso forward and down, parallel to the mat. And then continue to allow your head to drop down towards the mat. Bringing your hands overhead, really feeling that opening and expansion in the shoulders with this movement. Exhale, begin to bring yourself up to stand, hands to your hips. And then slowly bring your toe tips to face the top of the mat. Frame the front foot, allow your right knee to come to the mat, untuck the right toes. And then go ahead and step your left leg back, coming to hands and knees. Forgetting which side I did on the other, okay. Go ahead and extend your right leg up, bringing a bend into the right leg, 90-degree angle. And then inhale your left arm out to the top of the mat. Option to stay here, or go ahead and go in search of your right foot with your left hand, inviting a modified dancer pose. Kicking your right foot up towards the ceiling and back towards the back of the mat to even extend and open the chest more widely. On exhale, release down. Good. From here, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up towards the sky for downward facing dog. Inhale, ride your body forward into a high plank. And then exhale to bring yourself back in to downward facing dog. From here, rise to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Land with a long spine. Hands in line with shins. And then exhale, fold forward in half, Uttanasana. Inhale, release your arms up and out alongside your ears, palms touch, gaze lifts. Exhale your hands by your sides for Tadasana. Good. Inhale, sweep your arms up and out overhead, palms touch. Exhale your hands through the midline, fingertips come to toe tips. Inhale about halfway up. Exhale, frame your feet, step or hop back into a high plank. From here, exhale, flow through your vinyasa or come right to downward facing dog, whatever works for you. Inhale to bring your right leg long behind you. Exhale, step your right foot by your right thumb. Swivel your left heel down to the mat on a 45-degree angle. And then inhale your arms overhead for a warrior one. Exhale your hands behind your back, clasp your fingers together, puff up your chest. And then inhale to bring your torso forward and down for a humble warrior. So tuck your right shoulder on the inside of your right knee here. Bring your hands overhead. Breathing deeply into this humble warrior. And then inhale to lift yourself up. Your torso comes towards the ceiling. Release your hands. Go ahead and pivot your back toe tips to face the top of the mat. So now both feet are facing the top of the mat, but you're on the ball of your back left foot. Inhale your hands up overhead. Exhale to come into a goal pose position, bringing your elbows in line with your shoulders here. Puffing your chest towards the top of the mat. And then inhale your arms overhead. Begin to bring your arms forward towards the top of the mat, level with your shoulders. And then begin to skip your back foot up towards your right foot until it comes off of the mat and you're balancing on your right foot and your right leg, lifting your left leg off of the mat behind you. For a warrior three. We're just staying here very briefly until we bring our left foot to connect with our right foot at the top of the mat. Good. Okay, so inhale here, your arms overhead. Exhale your hands through the midline of the body. Fingertips come to line with toe tips. Inhale about halfway up. Exhale, frame the feet, step or hop back into a high plank. From here, exhale to flow through your vinyasa or skip it and meet in downward facing dog. Inhale to release the left leg long behind you. Step the left leg by the left thumb. Swivel your right heel down to the mat so your right foot is on a 45-degree angle. Inhale your hands up overhead, bending into the left leg for warrior one. Exhale your hands behind your back, clasp your fingers together, and then inhale your torso forward and down, coming into a humble warrior, hooking your left shoulder on the inside of your left knee, bringing your hands as far overhead as they can without putting too much pressure in the shoulders. Inhale to lift your torso up towards the sky. From here, begin to face all of your toe tips up towards the top of the mat. So come onto the ball of your right foot, toe tips centered towards the top of the mat, and then inhale your hands overhead. From your high lunge, bring your hands into a goal pose position, elbows in line with your shoulders, bringing your chest forward, opening your heart towards the sky, sending that positive energy out to the universe. And then exhale to bring your hands and arms out in front of you, shoulder height. Begin to skip the right foot closer to the left, and then bring the right foot off of the mat, flexing the right foot as it comes or aims up towards hip distance. Both hip points facing down towards the mat for warrior 3. And then exhale to release your right foot to meet your left foot. All right. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale your hands through the midline, fingertips line with toe tips. Inhale about halfway up. Exhale to frame your feet, step or hop back. We'll meet in downward facing dog, however you'd like to get there. From here, inhale, roll forward into a high plank, and then very slowly, exaggerate the slowness, bring your full body to connect with the mat. Untuck your toes. Leave your palms right by your chest bone, grounded into the mat. So your elbows are bent, your chest is just slightly lifted here. Good. From here, keep your left palm grounded, but begin to open your body towards the long right side of the mat. And then eventually lift your right leg to bring the sole of your right leg behind your left knee and opening your chest towards, let's go back to center. I did not set you up correctly. So let's come back to center with our hands underneath our chest bones, or just in line with our chest bones. Bring your left arm out to a T. We need to open up that left arm before we go anywhere. So open up your left arm and then begin to open up towards the right side of the mat, lifting your right foot to come behind your left knee, grounding the right foot on the mat. So option to keep your right hand firmly grounded into the mat, or open your right arm up towards the sky and around to meet or go in search of the left fingertips. So this will open the chest towards the sky like we've been doing throughout class, but also get that stretch in the left shoulder here. Inhale to come back through center, unraveling yourself and bringing both hands to plant by your chest bone on the mat. From here, bring your right arm out to a T, and then begin to open your body towards the long left side of the mat, bringing the sole of your left foot on the outside behind your right knee. And then you can keep your left palm grounded here, or again, go in search of your right fingertips this time with your left hand, really opening the chest. If your neck is a little bit sensitive here, go ahead and release your head down to the mat. You don't have to hold it up the whole time. And then exhale to bring yourself back through center. Pausing here. Go ahead and tuck your toes. Bring yourself back through child's pose. So come through hands and knees. With the toes tucked, come back and meet your heels with your sit bones for a child's pose. Forehead touches the mat. Inhale to come forward. Bringing your body to connect with the mat, keeping your toes tucked here. Lift your chest about halfway for a small cobra. Good. And then exhale, fold your head down towards the mat. Push back through child's pose one more time. We'll flow through that from child's pose to small cobra just one more time. So rest here for a moment. Inhale to come forward, bringing your body to connect with the mat, and then pushing up just about halfway, your chest lifting off of the mat for small cobra. And then exhale, drop your head towards the mat, push back through hands and knees, and rest in child's pose. Good, and go ahead and find a comfortable position on your back, however you'd like to get there when you're ready. When you get onto your back, bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet in towards your sit bones, ground your feet into the mat. Bring your arms alongside your body, palms into the mat. From here, inhale to connect your lower back to the mat. Feel the small of your back grounded into the mat. And then exhale to lift your hips up towards the sky for a bridge pose. So bring your hips and your chest towards the sky here. Keeping the weight evenly distributed through all four corners of both feet. And then exhale to release down. Option to do that just as we just did, the bridge pose, the same expression. Or you can always stay here and just breathe as well. But another option is to come into wheel pose. So if you would like to do bridge pose again, I'll let you do that on your own, but I'll cue wheel pose, upward bow pose, it's more commonly called, if you'd like to do that. So to come into upward bow, bring your hands by your ears with your fingertips down towards your shoulders. So your palms are grounded, your wrists are up towards the top of the mat, your fingertips are facing towards your shoulders. Firmly plant your feet, all four corners of your feet connected with the mat. You're going to inhale, connect your lower back to the mat first, and then on an exhale, bring your arms and your legs to straight to lift your hips up towards the sky for an upward bow. This is a really challenging pose, so only stay here for as long as it feels okay. When you're ready to come down onto your shoulders first, and then allow the rest of your spine to release down. Good. So once we all meet back on our backs out of that pose, just bring your feet, still with your legs bent, bring your feet out towards the sides of the mat, and then allow your knees to meet in the middle. So your feet are wide and your knees are kind of dangling in towards the middle of the mat. From here, begin to windshield wiper your knees to the left side and then over to the right side. This is a great release and a necessary release of the lower back after back bends, which usually when you're doing chest openers or heart openers, it also means a bit of back bends throughout the practice. So this is a really important way to kind of flush out the work that we did in the chest and the lower back. And then find a stillness at center. Bring your feet together and hug your knees into your chest. Just roll back and forth, side to side, really massaging the sacrum or the lower back into the mat. Give your lower back that love, just rocking back and forth. And then eventually allow your knees both to fall to the left side. Hug your knees in towards your left armpit. Bring your right arm out to a T. And turn your gaze towards your right fingertips. So your gaze is over towards your right fingertips while your knees are over towards the left, really giving that spinal twist, which we call a supine twist. Another way to, again, release the lower back. On an inhale, come back through center. Give your knees one more hug into your chest. Just gently rock side to side. And then allow your knees to fall to the right side. Hugging them in towards the right armpit, maybe using your right hand to guide your left knee a little bit further up towards the right armpit. And then bring your left arm out to a T, turning your gaze out to the left fingertips. Inhale to come back through center. Just take any last motions that you feel you need here, whether it's just rocking side to side, maybe taking happy baby by taking hold of the arches of your feet and kicking one leg long and then the other. These are the final movements before we set up for Shavasana, or our final resting position of the practice. So once you're ready for Shavasana, just simply allowing yourself to lay on your back with your arms out to the sides, palms facing up to the sky. Your feet a little bit further out than hip width distance. The challenge of Shavasana is just to let go while not falling asleep. So just allowing yourself to rest into a meditative state. Maybe bringing a blanket on top of your body to kind of encourage more weight onto the body, which is a really calming sensation. And just allow yourself these 5 more minutes or so to just be here on your mat with nowhere else to be, nothing else to prove. Begin to welcome a deeper breath into your body. Bringing awareness back into the physical body by maybe wiggling the fingertips and toe tips. Then go ahead and hug your knees into your chest slowly. Taking one more rock side to side, enjoying the massage of the lower back. And then eventually rolling over to one side in the fetal position, using the bicep that's underneath of your face as a pillow. Thanking yourself for taking this hour and 15 minutes during the still new and uncommon routine that you're likely living in. Taking this time to care for yourself, which in turn projects positivity and good thoughts of comfort and love and light out into the world, simply by inviting that into yourself. Use your top hand and push into the ground or the mat to lift yourself up. And then go ahead and prop yourself back up if you were on a blanket to begin practice or any kind of prop. If not, just come into the same position that you started practice in. Bringing your hands to your thighs, facing downwards with your palms for a more grounding sensation to end our practice. And then we'll end our practice just like we began by uniting our voices in one single sound of Om. Now more than ever, it's really important to unite ourselves. So we'll use this sound and this chant to do so, but you can always listen along. It's just as powerful. So bring your hands to prayer. And we'll inhale here for Om. Om. Bring your thumbs up to your third eye. Then lift your heart, bow your head. Bring your hands to meet the mat in front of you, sealing in your practice. Thank you for spending your time and energy with me in this virtual space today. I really appreciate it and can feel all the good energy that we're bringing together, and uniting together can simply contribute to less suffering in the world. So thank you for the time spent and supporting Wake Up Yoga in the final weeks. Namaste.